Most guys screw this up. They drop 20 to 30 pounds, finally feel lean, and then they bulk the wrong way, gain all the fat back, and undo everything. I've been there myself. But after years of trial and error, I figured out how to build lean muscle without blowing up like a balloon. So in this video, I'm giving you the exact blueprint I use to lean bulk without the fat gain, so you can finally build your physique the right way. Let's jump right into it. Okay guys, the very first thing that you need to do is the reverse diet ramp up. So let's say you lost a pretty good amount of fat right now, but now you're trying to build a little bit of muscle without that unnecessary fat gain that comes along with it. Well, the biggest mistake I used to do, and that I used to really coach my clients on as well, is when the fat loss phase was done, I used to skyrocket the calories right away, which led to, okay, a little bit of muscle gain, but at the same time, I gained so much extra fat that came along with it, which is not ideal, right? So what you actually need to do when the fat loss phase is done, you want to slowly ramp up your calories to a maintenance phase. And then once the maintenance phase is done, then we can really start focusing on adding some lean muscle without that fat gain. Now you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how many calories should I be having? And how long should I be doing a maintenance phase for and even a bulking phase for? Well, this is what I call the surplus sweet spot, and I'm going to break it down for you right now. Okay, so let's say you're coming out of a fat loss phase and you've been consuming anywhere between body weight in pounds times 10 to 11. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds times by 10 to 11. You probably consumed anywhere between 2,000 to 2,200 calories in a fat loss phase, whether you know it or not. Now let's introduce you to the surplus sweet spot and teach you how to bulk the right way. So like I said before, we want to hang out at maintenance calories for about 2 to 4 weeks and really make sure we don't jack up our calories, right away. And a very general rule of thumb that you can give in terms of calculating your maintenance calories is take your body weight in pounds and times by roughly 14. And like I said, just make sure we're not shooting up way too high, because if you do, you're going to make the same mistakes I did and you're going to build a little bit of muscle but gain the shitload of fat. Now I'm going to teach you to lean bulk in just 1 second, but I want you to think about it this way. If you're familiar with Everest, you know that you don't go base camp to the top of the mountain right away, right? Like you go to stage 1 and hang out there for a little bit, stage 2, camp 3, whatever it's called, and then eventually you get to the top of the mountain. It's the same thing when it comes to losing fat and eventually adding muscle. If we just jacked you up right away, your body's just not used to that high number of calories, and you're just going to gain so much extra fat that comes along with it. So let's say now you're done your maintenance and you did it for 2 to 4 weeks and you didn't gain weight, but you didn't lose weight either. A very good number in terms of a lean bulk that I find works so well is take your body weight in pounds and times by roughly 15 to 16. So just a little bit more than maintenance. And this can be very individualized, and you're going to make sure the number on the scale doesn't skyrocket, because the goal is to go up a little bit, of course, but remember, we want to minimize fat gain and maximize muscle growth. So start by 15 to 16 in terms of taking your body weight in times by that, and you can basically adjust accordingly depending on how much the scale is moving or if it's not moving at all. Now, how long do you hang out at the bulking phase for? Well, it really depends, because every single person is different, but I would say at least do it for 3 months. And a mistake a lot of guys make is they bulk for like 1 month, expect to gain a lot of muscle, but in reality, they gain a lot of fat and not a lot of muscle that comes with it. Now, this is just steps 1 and 2. If you skip steps 3 to 6, you're only get like a quarter of the equation. So let's dive into really how to maximize losing fat, but also now gaining muscle, which is ultimately what you want. Okay, step number 3, and this is so underrated, but this is what I like to call the carb priority protocol. I'm going to break it down for you in just 1 second. But the second biggest mistake I used to make coming out of a fat loss phase was I try to really increase my protein to an insane amount because I thought the more protein you eat, the better it's going to be for muscle growth. Well, that's wrong. Assuming your protein levels were good in a fat loss phase, you actually don't need more protein. And here's what happened when I actually increased my protein, in terms of trying to build muscle. I actually underconsumed my calorie target. It was so hard to hit that calorie number. I felt more full and I just felt more lethargic, and even kind of messed up my washroom issues. I'm not going to discuss that in today's video, but just think about it, right? Like a lot of lean protein sources, they really don't have a lot of calories in them. right? Like chicken, beef, fish, like all that stuff. You have to eat a shitload of that in order to reach your calorie number, which is gonna be pretty uncomfortable for you. So here's a change I made. I actually kept the protein the exact same of the fat loss phase, but what I actually did was I, of course, increased my calories because when you're obviously building muscle, you got to increase your calories. We talked about that. But the calories that I did increase came from good carbohydrate sources. And when I made that change, I can actually hit my calorie target. I had more strength in the weight room that helped me build muscle and even just a lot more energy altogether. Now, think of like carbs and protein as like the Batman and Robin. So Batman is protein, like that's essential, like that's obviously the main thing. But more often than not, we forget that we have a Robin, and carbs are the Robin here because they're going to help you with so many things, including energy level, like I said, strength, and you're going to feel so much better. You can actually hit your calorie target without stuffing 4 chickens down your face every single day. Now, if you want like a carb cheat sheet that shows like good carb sources to have, I'll put in the comments below. Check it out. You make this change, and that's an absolute game changer for you in terms of building muscle without maximizing the fat gain. All right, step number 4, and this is what I like to call the quality over crap rule. So what the hell does the quality over crap rule mean, right? Well, essentially, I just minimize my empty calories. So think like chips, fruit juices, sugars, alcohol. Now, I still have my alcohol because like that's a non-negotiable for me on the weekends. I do like to have a few drinks on the Saturdays and the Sundays. But basically, I try to minimize the foods and drinks that really didn't provide any nutritional benefit to the weight room or my physique. And what I made a change from, okay, let's minimize that to knowing I still have to have some higher calorie foods, right? Because we talked about you can eat like chicken, eat lean fish, and expect a bulk because it's just so much food quality. That's just a quantity, and it just like it's gonna leave you full, and you're not gonna hit your calorie target. But here's a prime example for you. So like a burger, for example, like I'm having stuff like that, like maybe like a chicken burger in my case, but you still get the good protein in the burger. You put it on the bun, you get some carbohydrates, a little bit higher in calories, but at the same time, you're still getting some nutritional benefit to it because that's protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So your big takeaway here is try to minimize those empty calories and shift it to obviously get your protein sources, but foods that have a little bit higher calories in them, because when you're bulking, of course, you want to make sure calories are a little more easily to consume. And if you make that change and minimize your empty calories to the foods I kind of mentioned a little bit here and there, I guarantee you're going to find your performance in the weight room is going to skyrocket, and you're going to notice a change in your physique. All right, step number 5 is what I like to call the lift to grow blueprint. So before, I used to really overcomplicate things because I try to stay lean, but I tried to like build muscle at the same time. So my workouts kind of reflected that, where I do like the jogging and the HIIT training to try to stay lean. And of course, I lifted weights to try to build muscle. Well, I was kind of caught in no man's land, and I really didn't get the best of both worlds when doing that. And what I made the change from, okay, let's ditch the BS, and the BS in this case, meaning like the cardio and stuff like that, and let's just focus on adding muscle right now, because that is the name of the game, right? Like if you're in a bulking phase, you are trying to build muscle. So when I made that change, I noticed I actually got so much more muscle, and I really didn't even gain that much extra fat at all. So your big takeaway is, and when it comes to your workouts, focus on 4 to 5 strength workouts per week. Focus on quality over quantity, and that's a video for another day because we're going to talk about why quantity can be the worst thing for you in terms of building muscle. And if you make that change, I guarantee you're going to see much better results opposed to kind of going back and forth with your workouts. And if you want to see my exact workout plan that I did in terms of building muscle while staying lean, just comment workouts and I'll send it to you in the comments down below. Okay, step number 6 is going to be the iceberg gains principle. Now, bear with me. But do you know when you watch an athlete, like let's say it's like Josh Allen dominating the football field, or Michael Phelps swimming, or Michael Jordan his day, you see the athlete at that particular moment, right? Like dominating the sport. But what you don't see is the behind the scenes stuff. So like what they're doing to their bodies to get them to the position that they're at while you're watching them on TV. Now, it's the same thing when it comes to like transforming your body in terms of building muscle. Like you can be down your calories, you can be down your protein, you can be crushing your workouts, but if you don't focus on the recovery aspect, which is the iceberg gains principle, so recovery aspect meaning like sleep, stress management, mobility, etc., If you don't focus on that, but you just focus on all the superior stuff, well, guess what? Your body's not going to see, I should say, you're not going to be happy with the body that you want because you're really not focusing on the important stuff that often gets overlooked. It's kind of like, let's say you're dialed in, you're working out 5 times per week, your calories are great, your protein's great. It's kind of like doing a hard-working project on Microsoft Word, but let's say your sleep is shit. It's like you do that project, but you forget to hit the save document, and then you just don't get the result because it's essentially gone. It's the same thing here, guys. So your big takeaway here is when you're trying to build muscle, you really have to focus on recovery. So sleep, stress, and even mobility. If you do those 3 things combined with all the stuff I talked about so far, you're well on your way in terms of minimizing the fat gain and maximizing the muscle gain. All right, step number 7 is gonna be the low impact fat guard. Now, who can guess what this means? Like, if you do, pause the video, let me know in the comments below. I want to see if you get this right. But essentially, if you're not sure what the low impact fat guard means, it essentially means we're going to focus on walking opposed to HIIT training. So I already talked about, okay, I got rid of HIIT training, I got rid of jogging, and I just focused on my strength training. Well, if you can combine the strength training with low impact walking, because again, we talked about the importance of recovery, right? If you're not a lot of HIIT training, jogging, that's a lot of wear and tear on the body. And if you're just focused on like crushing your body, you're not going to recover properly, which means you're not going to gain as much muscle. But if you can focus on your strength training workouts and add low impact walking to really help supplement the calories a little bit and get the blood flow going a lot, you do that, you're going to keep nice and lean, but at the same time, you're still going to build some muscle. So your big takeaway, like in a muscle building phase, you don't have to walk like 15,000 steps per day or nothing like that, but still try to aim for what 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day. If you do that, you're gonna stay lean and your muscle is gonna thank you. Now, let's say you're done this bulking phase, or maybe you still have a little bit of belly fat to lose. I made a full video on the 3 stages of belly fat that you can expect to go through. So make sure to check it out, whether you're actually gonna do this after bulking phase, or if you still wanna trim down a little bit more before you get this bulking phase right now. Please make sure to like, subscribe. It means a lot to this channel. Thanks so much for watching to the end. Let me know in the comments below if you found this helpful, and let me know if you want the full access to my full-blown workout plan that got me to this muscle gain without gaining a lot of fat. Thanks so much for watching.